welcome to live chat. Let's see, did I set this up properly? Is this unlisted? I think I may have made this unlisted. That would be dumb. That would be very dumb. I suppose I'll find out. Oh, they changed the entire interface of this. Much more confusing now. Oh, the flags are not blowing in the wind. Makes me sad. I like when there's a flag and no wind, it kills me. Flags need wind. Okay, let's set up this stupid watch. Alright, my watch is now judging me. Peace and quiet. This is the opposite of Austin downtown. Literal middle of nowhere. Looks like that's a washer or dryer. A washer? Yeah, it's a washing machine. Nothing great about that. Too low. F you. The watch is telling me to walk faster. Hello from Saigon. Hello. With crime, what the? That's confusing. Yeah, don't type confusing stuff. Thanks, Ranger. Read it out. Live Q&A. Hello, Sedition Astaria. Fuck you, watch. I'm walking down a hill. All right, can I speed walk down a hill? Watch is bitching at me. You want to see your face? No, you don't. That's bad for ratings. I have a face made for radio. Yeah, that makes even less sense. Echo, actually. That makes no sense at all. It actually makes less sense now that I can read it. Where are the sidewalks? LOL. What are you talking about, sidewalks? You're lucky you get a street. Every now and then I'll check out some neighborhoods like this and I'll do the calculation in my head with population density and oh shit, let's not get killed by a car. And I'll do a calculation of like how much I think each person pays in property tax and the amount of area that it has to support. Because everything here in Texas is property tax pretty much. There's like some taxes on corporations. It's actually strange. I think the tax on corporations here is something like a percentage of gross sales, which is weird because you can have a lot of gross sales and make no income. I'm almost not mad at that because that's kind of a bulwark against having a business that sells things as a loss leader, but that doesn't actually make money. Because that's an unhealthy thing that you'll see investors do, like Uber. They were upfront about the fact that they were selling rides below cost to try and destroy everybody else in the market. And then once they're the dominant competitor, then they can do surge pricing and all this other fucked up shit. So, but yeah, most of it here is property tax. So sometimes I'll just do that in my head. I'll look at the amount of space. And then I'll think about how much money it would cost to just do something like fix a pothole. I mean, I'm not talking about what it should cost to fix a pothole. I'm talking about what it actually costs to fix a pothole. I like that fence. I like to keep out in the tape. And the thingy that looks like it could be barbed wire, but maybe is just some nasty broken wire that hasn't been maintained. My watch stopped complaining, so I think it's possible that I'm actually at the heart rate I should be. Thank you, Gathuri. Thanks for the videos about Flock. My city has them, but for now they're disabled because ICE used them. Yes. I've tried to make some more universal arguments for them rather than just the ICE thing because there are a lot of people that are like, oh, that would be great. But whatever works in your area, don't go to the Texas state legislature and say these cameras are bad because ICE uses them. Don't go to New York City Council and say, oh my God, what if COVID happens again? And you guys, never mind, you were the ones who, you have to be This stuff happens at the local level. These cameras are usually installed at the local level. Yeah. Answer something. Let me put the phone on silent so you don't hear the vibrations. Yeah, anyway, since those cameras are installed at the local level, it's most important to make arguments that are relevant to your local politics. Yeah, sidewalks cost money. Like, take a look at that house, right? It's a pretty nice house. It probably has way more property tax than mine. Let's say that the property tax for that house is something that's like $20,000, right? How much would it cost to build a sidewalk here? How much would it cost to maintain it? And like just the cost to run plumbing and water and gas. Not gas, because here I guess most people would have propane, I imagine. Bad example. Like electrical, telecom, all that shit. It's not cheap. And the amount of money it would cost to bring all that stuff there versus the property tax. So in some areas it just doesn't make sense to have a sidewalk. As you can see, it's not exactly like this is a walkable neighborhood anyway. What do you think about Ring opening up data to AI and facial recognition platforms going forward? Lame. They're trying to get around I think they're trying to get around people locally that say, I don't want these cameras spying on me in my neighborhood, by doing an end run because they know everybody has a Ring doorbell. And they're probably going to have some sort of click-rack bullshit. Like, I got tricked with Discord. I got tricked into agreeing to forced arbitration. I almost never use Discord, and I've been avoiding that fucking pop-up for a long time. And at one point, it was like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. I was dead tired. I just smashed the button really quick, and I got owned. Yeah, I hit the fucking forced arbitration thing. Like, fuck, you guys got me. And I'm sure they'll probably have something like, do you want to help make your community safer by agreeing to our Safe Community program? And nobody's going to actually read the terms. They're just going to click yes, because it's like... and I imagine that they're going to get a lot of people to sign into it. And like, if they want to have that type of surveillance, they're going to figure out a way to get it. I feel like I'm wasting my time there. "50 years from now, when you live in Minority Report, they're going to look back at this moment. I'll probably be dead by then. Most people in my family make it to late 40s, mid 50s. Don't you? That better be a good beep. Oh, in range, damn straight. I'm walking up a hill. You better not tell me I'm not in range. What? Does it cold in Texas surprise you? No, weather is a thing everywhere. Now that New York is turning into a cyberpunk dystopia, you're going to make streams again walking there. I don't know. Is it? Is New York really different now than it was 3 or 5 years ago? The last time I stepped foot in New York, I think was September of 2022. I feel bad because for the employees that weren't able to come with me, the shop itself closed around January of 2023 or December 2023. I forget the exact date. No, December 2022 or January 2023, the one that I had in Manhattan. But I didn't go back after September. And the one thing I feel guilty about is I never actually went back to say goodbye or have a dinner with Paul and everybody else. It's a mental thing. It's definitely a mental thing. It's just a block. Like when I didn't even go to the website and start booking a trip back. It's just the sheer idea of it. I don't want to go back to a place that gave me as much anxiety and aggravation as it did for as long as it did, for any reason. Okay. It's a puppy. Oh, he's tied to something. Hello, puppy. I'm a cat person. You could tell, can't you? Woof. Oh, another dog over here. You can tell. This is the burbs, though. I don't know if you would call this a suburb. When I think of a suburb, I think of someplace that is HOA, boring, I don't know what you call this. It's not rural. This has like 2,000 or 3,000 people. It's not a city. It's the best place to eat in this neighborhood is closed on Tuesdays. Saigon Cafe. Suburbs are usually not financially viable in the first place. True. And I think a part of that is because suburbs try to do some things that don't make sense. Like, for instance, they did not build a sidewalk here. There is no sidewalk anywhere. Why? It's like, they're not going to use it. So instead of trying to build it with money that you get from bonds and then go a bunch into debt for something that is going to screw you 40 years from now, just don't do it at all. It forces you to pay attention, you know? You can't have headphones in. Another house for sale. Why not bike in an area? I have to fix my bike. I have not. My gears are completely destroyed. I have not made the time for it. Too many other random projects that I ADD myself into. I need to find a mobile bike tech. That's what I need. A mobile bike tech that will happily work on my projects if I overpay him. If I take my bike into a normal bike shop, they're just going to stare at it, laugh, and tell me to go fuck myself. So, I used to do this stuff myself, but I just don't have the time to. It's not, I shouldn't say the time, that's not it. I don't have the patience. So the way my brain works is, I'm not a good repairman. I'm actually a really bad repairman. I'm a good repairman by virtue of being very obsessive. So, I look at something, I stay up until 5 in the morning for weeks on end, I get really focused on it, and then I can really dig deep and become really good at it. It's either that, or I have no patience, even if I try to concentrate on it, and I do a horrible job. I have no idea what I'm doing. I break everything. It's usually one or the other. So if I'm working, like with MacBook board repair, I was able to get really good at it because that was my life for a long time. But if that was not my life, I'd be worse at it than the Apple Store. So I kind of have to shift gears, and I'm not good at shifting gears. That's something I've always been bad at. Oh, that's a happy sound that my watch made. LOL at how slow you are to read comments on stream. Mofo, there's 167 of you pricks. Personal trainer. I'm focusing on my walk. I don't want to stare at the screen. I guess it would be nice to have some here. How about this? You pick out the good questions, sir. I'll let Dr. Evo do that. Don't you miss replacing CD3215s? Honestly, no. I really don't. I don't know if it's because the repairman arc of my life was 2007 through 2020. I don't know if it's just because I did the same thing 13 years, like 12 to 14 hours a day obsessively. I feel like the repairman arc of my life ended many years ago. And I'm okay with that, even if others are not. I still feel the same camaraderie with people who face the issues that I do. If I'm ever in a position where I can be of service or of help or influence things to make the past me past me living now, you know, other people doing what I was doing better, I will. That's a beautiful view. That's pretty. But I actually don't. What are your thoughts on social media ban for children under 16? I don't know about that. I mean, a lot of who I am today was formed from me finding the internet in the late 90s and early 2000s. My parents, everybody says, parents, you can't have all this age verification bullshit. How about you just watch what your kids do on the internet? I know one of the problems that I have, and my trainer, Dr. Evil in the chat, always brings up, is not everybody is you. And I'll think through things, like thinking of how I would want to be treated or thinking of what would make sense to me, for me. And that doesn't make sense for society. But I think that if my parents had half a clue what I was doing on the internet, they would have taken my computer away when I was like 10 or 11 years old. And I would have grown up with a massively different culture. I think I had a bit of a culture shock because if you go on the internet, nobody knows how old you are or anything like that. And there are some people that I know in real life today that I met when I was like 12 on these random website forums that stuck together. And some of them are like 18 or 30. And the thing is, it kind of forced me to become more of a grown-up if I was going to have conversations with people that are that much older than me. So when I was 14 or 15, instead of talking like I was talking to my peer group of, fellow 12 to 16-year-olds, I had the mindset that I would have if I was talking to people that had real jobs and everything else. How are you? And it forced me to think through things differently. I don't know. There's one person that had a big influence on me when it came to this personal responsibility and accountability of things. And there's a few people that had a really large effect on me becoming different in a positive way than my parents. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, if the people that were talking to me, if they could literally just read my conversations and they could see me say, yes, here is the conversation that I heard in my house. And I'm saying, that is not how adults should act. Your parents are being completely ridiculous in X, Y, Z. They would have obviously just unplugged the computer immediately. But not everybody experiences mine. Me having influences that were not my parents was positive for my development. For a lot of people, obviously, that's going to be negative because you have grooming and all this other psychos and stalkers and fucked up shit. Is it true that Mr. Clinton took Blackberry's meows? That's why she's silent. She doesn't meow, she burrs. That's why I call her Blackberry. She goes brr, brr. The idea that suburbs can't support that kind of infrastructure is just an American brainwash viewpoint. Huh? Do you mean can or can't? I mean, the budgets kind of show it for what it is. A lot of suburbs, when they want to have even basic services, they wind up taking out these giant bonds, hoping that they'll get repaid in the future, and it just gets worse and worse and worse, and then the infrastructure crumbles. Not Just Bikes has good videos about that. They're not bad. Thank you, Pete from NYC. Cheers from Finland. Thank you. Any chance of more board repair streams or videos in the future? No. I got tired of doing them once I got to, I think, over 1,000. And then I think I kept doing them for like another 30 or 40. And then I realized that nobody, like every time I did a board repair video, and this goes back to 2013. Like if I click on almost any one of my board repair videos and I click analytics, it's like minus 200 subscribers, minus 50 subscribers. My channel was kind of me recording whatever's on my mind at the time. So then I got into this habit where I was making videos because I thought that was what the audience wanted. Because the audience lies to you almost as much as, just about. The audience lies to you almost as much as your government does. Like, we want more of this. It's like, no, you don't. I can see right here. You don't watch or comment on any of these. And so I kept doing them even like past the point where it wasn't something that I was doing regularly or wasn't just part of what I wanted to do. And then I realized I'm doing something for other people that don't even exist. And then I just kind of stopped doing them. Like I procrastinated so many repairs because of the other stuff I have going on. The Marantz 1060. I've wanted to fix that amp since, I believe, February or March of this year. It is still sitting on my desk. I still have to fix that. I don't know what it is. It's like there's a switch snapped in my head and I almost kind of wonder if I ever actually was a repair person or if I just misremembered a life of being a repair person. I hallucinated it. And the last 10 years of board repair videos are just AI slop. It's possible. Like, I like audio gear, and I like fixing things, and it's still sitting on my desk. And I can't tell you why that is. I have the ability to fix it. I worked at Avatar Studios for a year. Worked on Pultec EQPs, LA2As, the 31102 modules that go into the Neve 8068 console. Or was it an 8088? I forget if Avatar had an 8068 or 8088. Not sure. My watch is going to bitch at me because I'm going downhill, so my pulse will be lower. Do you guys think planned obsolescence will become a thing of the past? No, I think it will accelerate continuously. I think we've already passed the breaking point where it's just going to get exponentially worse and there's no way to go back. Sometimes I wonder if that's a losing battle. We will see. What if there were nonprofit tech companies? What if the sky was orange? I don't know. How come people not use the sidewalks if there are no sidewalks in the first place? Huh? Mamdamo is the devil and will destroy the heart of what? I don't think so, but whatever. What is it like here? It is a place. I don't know. Austin is, as I've said, Austin is kind of like the Dubai of Texas or the US. Like everybody that you meet was not actually from there. They're all from somewhere else. They all moved there for some odd reason. You have a bunch of empty buildings that were just kind of built to impress people or as part of money laundering projects downtown. So many of those buildings downtown are completely fucking empty. Like I've walked around them from time to time. I've just gone in. The thing is, if you're wearing a suit, on the rare occasion I'm wearing a suit, you'll be surprised how many doormen and security people you could just get past by, hey, how's it going? You look like you're on a busy work phone call. That was the fun part of wearing a suit to me. It wasn't like, I'm better than you or I'm gonna be such a professional or something like that. The cool part about wearing a nice suit is if you really like start to act the part, there are so many places where, can I see your ID, sir? Are you on the list or this, that, or the other? What's the code to get into this office? And it's like, there is none of that. They just let you into places. I found that out in 2022. It was very fun. Anyway. I can't tell you about the rest of Texas. I haven't visited a bunch of it. Been to Mason, Dallas, Houston, a couple of other places that I forget off the top of my head. I'm not good at remembering the names. Oh yeah. Do you hear about the EU adopting a law that allows all apps to scan all communication and search for CSAM? Yeah, I've talked about it a few times. Nobody seems to care. You're talking about chat control. People have asked me to do another video on it, and it's like, I did several. I don't think anybody cares. I don't think anybody cares. I don't know what I would do. I make videos when I'm excited to. I don't make videos because I feel like I have to. I make it when there's something on my mind. And I feel like I could do a video where it's like, hey everybody, how's it going? Here's a video I did 6 months ago. It is still relevant. Please go rewatch that exact same video. That's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something. That is why I have not made a follow-up video on chat control. I just don't know how to make it something I'll be interested in. When are we going to get a collaboration of you, Steve Lehto, and the Institute for Justice? I've emailed the Institute of Justice a few times and I never heard back, so I kind of give up on that. I don't usually do collaborations because collaborations are usually, the collaborations I see on YouTube is usually like they come up with a premise for the video ahead of time. It's usually staged or planned in some way. And it's like people do them because they really enjoy seeing their favorite creators on screen together, so they come up with like some sort of, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, it's just not my channel's kind of thing. Jessa Jones were the most fun ones because we would, if I did a collaboration video with her, it wasn't something where he's like, hey, let's figure out a reason for us to be on screen together in a video. It was, we're teaching a class together, we have to clean up. Like, I have a bunch of mail and I'm tired, and I say, what if I read all the mail that you had and picked out the funny ones? And then I was gonna do that anyway to make fun, so we could, make fun of things. And so I just turned the camera on for it. Like some of the Thomas Queter stuff with Mobility Independence Foundation. It's like I'm already there anyway. What do you think of Linus joining the farms and posting in his thread? I don't really care. I don't think about things like that. It's not something. It's not just bikes and his concepts of videos and the concept of strong towns. Yes, additionalist, that is it. Are you going to leave New York? I'll let you answer that for yours. I'll let you answer that one. If a company wants to advertise their services to you, how would you recommend they do it? What does an ethical ad look like? Or is there no such thing? It's not about whether an ad is ethical, it's just the problem that I have with advertisements is they show up where I don't want them. Like, if I'm watching a YouTube video and I want to learn about, if I want to see what the Senate said today about, I don't know, Like, what did Ted Cruz say at a speech about Trump accounts or some shit? I just want to learn about some new legislation or thing that got announced. Because if I want to look that up, just giving an example, I don't really want to hear about lawn mowing services at that point. It's like, this is not relevant to me. Go away. When I want to mow my lawn, I will look into mowing my fucking lawn. Like, make your ethical advertising to me. Make the content that is relevant to what you do. Post it, and then when I'm looking for it, have something interesting. Like an ad that says, we are the best lawn mowing service in town. Here's why mowing your lawn with us is the best thing ever. And just putting it in my face, it's like, fucking go away. I didn't ask for this. Now, if when I'm looking for... Oh, I thought he was making a right turn. Okay, never mind. So, like, do what Jessa does, or Mark, or Tim, or Northridge Fix, Alex did. Like, they just showed themselves fixing shit, right? And they just tried to make it interesting or entertaining. Alex makes it entertaining for himself. Jessa would try to make it entertaining for her audience. And then when you're looking for it, like, when you watch those videos, it's not like they're saying, I am the best at everything. We have 10 years of experience and are completely certified and blah, 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 blah. But you're shoving it in where I don't care. When I'm looking for it and I'm interested, you provided me with something that's interesting rather than something that's just self-promotional. And now I'm more likely to care. Or Northwest Repair, or any of those people. Like Northwest Repair is funny. Yeah. Like, if I'm walking down this road and I'm talking about this, and I see a billboard that says, match your interest rate on this IRA or some shit, I don't know, like, I'm not thinking about that right now. It's just noise to me, and I tune it out. Will you acknowledge fight to repair as proper stance? I don't know what that is or what that means, or if that is a question or a statement. That doesn't make sense to me. That's it. The idea of a nonprofit tech company is crazy interesting. How do you think that would work? It's so vague, it's impossible to even remotely engage with. Thank you, Christine Gagnon. Are you still interested in preventing EU video surveillance? Huh? That's an odd question. Am I still interested? I'm just kind of working on it in my own area. I don't think I've really focused on the EU much because I don't live there. Mostly getting people to show up in my own country has been kind of a mess. What do you think about tokenized assets from BlackRock? I would have to Google that term, and I can't do that while streaming, so I don't think anything of it at the moment. I started to lose respect for... Oh, I don't want to talk bad about the people that you're referring to, so I'm not going to read the rest of it. Do you know this person, Ben Jordan? No, I've actually never received an email with a link to his Flock video. You should email me a link to his Flock video. I'm sorry, I get like fucking 50 emails a day to one of his videos, and I love his stuff. It's great. It's just, Jesus Christ, I've seen the video. I liked him. I like Ben Jordan. He makes very interesting content. He's an exceptionally good presenter, good entertainer, good at educating in a way that gets people involved and excited. But yeah, that's just my salt from getting the same question like 50 times a day. Commenting on those videos has not decreased the frequency of the question. YouTube started throttling users with ad block. I mean, to be clear, I ad block everything, but I can't be mad at them for doing that because it's like you're taking without providing. The only issue that I have with providing to YouTube is that when I pay them, and I did not have internet, and I thought I downloaded something, I did not actually download it, and I had to reconnect, and I felt really stupid because for like 5 or 6 years I had been giving them 10 or 13 bucks a month, and then when I actually want to watch my video, and it was downloaded to a device that had not been online, and I think a day or two, I had to stop and connect to a hotspot so that I could deal with the DRM. But Like, that is normal. I mean, I don't mind you using an ad blocker. Like, by all means, fucking use the ad blocker. But when people are like, how dare they? That should be illegal. It's like, you can't be mad at the game itself. Like, that is a game, right? New York should have done more to keep you as a tenant. Why? Why would they give a fuck about me? I do not expect them to. I'm not Bill Gates. I'm not Michael Dell. I am not special. I would feel weird if the government did care about me personally. I don't want them to. I would prefer that they have a policy that works for everybody. So it's kind of like with Chase Bank, right? So I'm having an issue with Chase Bank right now where I literally cannot replace a debit card or a credit card. Like, it says, this part of our website does not work right now. It has said that for 18 fucking months. And then they if you keep enough money with Chase, they give you access to a special person that's supposed to help you with fixing the problems. And at this point, they don't even fix any of the problems that I have. They just say, like, go to a branch or do this or call this number. And I don't want to do that because I'm going to be waiting 2 or 4 hours. It's like, let me replace a fucking debit card. Or let me lock something. Or, like, even the lock button for a debit card, like, it literally doesn't work. I have 6 accounts, and for each account, 1 card will show up for all of them. Makes no sense. And none of it works. But I don't want them to fix my problem. I want them to have a working system so that other people who do not have a special rep at Chase cannot have that problem to begin with. And at some point, when you get large enough, it's actually cheaper to appoint someone whose job it is. And what I would prefer, I would be mad if New York offered to fix any of my issues. I would want them to fix the underlying problem so that nobody has those issues. Like, fuck me. Who gives a fuck about me or my problems? Like, I wanted to visit Ben Jordan early November to record something with him, and something came up and I wasn't able to. There was another event that I had to go to for my nonprofit. Unfortunately, on rare occasion, my job gets in the way of my hobbies, which is that. But yeah, when he made that presentation to the press, I wanted to be there to go over things, and I do regret that I was not able to make that, because I have a lot of respect for Ben Jordan and what he does. It would have been fun to be able to make that event, but that event coincided with something that I had to be at for something else. This is a lovely sidewalk. Did you see that Samsung does not support properly new feature Android that lets you run Linux VMs? I don't get it. I don't get it. I didn't even know I could do a VM on my phone. Lewis, FWD or RWD? Acronyms are against the rule and are highly offensive to me. You still cycle? No, I have not made time to fix my bike. And I've also been too ADD to even find a mobile bike tech that I could bend the arm of to fix my bike. By bend the arm of, I mean pay above their normal rate to make it worth the time to come out here. Hello, doggy. I am a cat person. Meow. 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 There's nothing more fun than meowing at dogs than watching them rage. I think he'd be mad anyway. Are you going to do a collaboration with Dr. John Padfield from YouTube channel Business Reform? I have never heard of that channel or that person. So I would say no right now because I don't know who that is. It does not mean that I would not in the future, but I don't know who that person is, so it's not in my plans. Yeah, I don't know of their content or anything about them, honestly. If you ask if I've heard of it, that would be the easier first question before, are you doing this with this person that I don't know? Would you rather have Intel processor or AMD? I'd rather have AMD. I have an Intel in my laptop just because I managed to get one that was on sale because it was open box. It was dirt cheap. It's a MSI, what is it? HXAI laptop, the Vector 16. It's an MSI Vector 16. It has an 5080 GPU with 16 gigabytes of VRAM, I think. 16 or 24, I think it's 16. And i7 or i9 275 Ultra that was like below 2K. It's just, I couldn't help myself. I just wanted to fuck around with running some local AI models. And if I wanted to buy desktop GPUs, I think I actually would have wound up spending more money than I spent on that stupid open box laptop. I'm genuinely convinced the person who sold it to me put the price on the website wrong. But yeah, I've made that mistake as a business owner, and when I did, I ate it. So they get to eat it too. Nothing like buying a laptop with a 5080 GPU and a Core 275 for like close to $1,000. I'll take it. It's a piece of shit. That laptop doesn't even have a mux. Like, I think that the graphics goes through, it's buggy, especially in Linux. The video is, if you want to do multiple monitor, it can be a mess because they don't have a mux. So when you're switching between the integrated GPU and the actual GPU, instead of being mixed through a mux, I think that everything goes through the Intel or the NVIDIA GPU. I think everything goes through the Intel GPU. So if you have multiple monitors, there can be this weird stuttering shit. But I don't even give a fuck. Like, literally, if I'm using it with, I turn off the internal monitor. Yeah, no, now I know what it is. I think the internal monitor is hooked up through the Intel GPU. So even when you're using the NVIDIA GPU, you still have to go through another GPU to get to it instead of a mux, so it can be kind of weird. I forget the architecture of it. I looked it up a few months ago, but I literally turn off the internal monitor of that laptop. I don't even care. I just pretend that it's a desktop and plug it straight into a screen. It's What do you think of the United States giving Julian Assange a full pardon, not posthumously? I'm not as informed on that as I'd like to be, but I would lean towards yes, go for it. I don't know if that actually happens or if you're asking what I would think of it happening. Something to Google when I'm done with this. Any advice on changing your channel's focus over time successfully? Seems like content creation gets tiring if you're too static. Well, what YouTube leans you to do is it leans you to, in the beginning of anybody's channel, they don't really, maybe they know exactly what they want to do, maybe they don't, but eventually, like after a few years, you'll figure out exactly what your audience wants you to do. And then there's this like feedback loop between the audience and the content creator, which sometimes is good, sometimes it's fucking horrible. You just wind up repeating what your audience wants you to tell them and becoming a puppet yourself. But there's this feedback loop, and then YouTube really wants you to make the same type of content over and over again in a formulaic fashion that burns you out and makes you miserable. And you'll see a lot of content creators that have made formulaic content for years and years that just burn out and just can't make stuff anymore. I have kept my channel focused on whatever it is that I feel like discussing at the time. Like, if I'm excited to talk about it, I do. If I'm not excited to talk about it, even if my audience really wants me to, I don't do it. Shit. Ugh. Run. It's worked for me. I've probably missed out on a bunch of subscribers, viewership, stuff from that, but it's fine. It's dangerous out there. Where's here? I'm trying to figure out how much Racine, Wisconsin, my city, what they're spending on flock cameras. They're still popping up all over the whole city. I would try getting involved more with the city council meetings locally if you can. I know most people have work and they love to do these city council meetings during the time where 99% of the population can't attend them. I think that to some extent is by design. Even if I let go of my cynicism for a moment, like, how are you going to, if you have like 5 or 10 people on city council and you have a town of 100,000 people And if you have even 2,000 or 4,000 people show up, how are you going to answer all of their questions? Not possible. Yeah, this is really not walkable, but we're gonna make it work. I trust people to see me. I'm sure that nobody driving in Texas is texting or drunk. Famous last words. How do you feel about Clippy's RN? Too broad a question. I don't know exactly what you're asking. Anyone know about Oreo? He's gone. He ran away. My door was ajar, and he left. I looked for him and I could not find him. There he is. What video games did you play as a kid and why'd you stop? I played Dota when it was a sub-map of Warcraft 3. I enjoyed Street Fighter, Alpha 3, and I liked Final Fantasy 9. I stopped playing games when I had to move out on my own. Yeah, like 2006, 2007 is when I stopped playing games because life became a video game, running a business became a video game. Yeah. I played games a lot as a kid because there's not much else to do. And then as an adult, it's like, fuck, there's so much shit to do. You keep score differently. Definitely looking at Dr. John Padfield and Business Reform. They're a big fan of yours and you recommend it. I will take a look at the Business Reform channel when I am done with this walk. My watch is bitching that I'm not walking fast enough, and it's likely because I keep turning around to make sure I don't get run over. I'll just walk on the grass. Hopefully this isn't private property and nobody shoots me. Any news in Tesla Powerwalls remotely disabled, thousands left with dead batteries. That sounds like a news title, not something, any news on. I don't know. That sounds like a title that you have created or a title for a piece of news that you've read elsewhere. So when you say any news on, I'm assuming that you did not come up with that title, that you copied and pasted it as a title because it has an M dash in it. So I'm then assuming that is already existing as news and therefore might answer your question. Yeah, I think you may have answered your question by asking it. I will look into that later. Ticks suck. Yes, they do. They suck blood. I'm ready to buy a GPU for my rig. Huh. Now is not a good time to buy a GPU. Definitely not a good time to buy DDR5 RAM. Not a good time to buy a lot of stuff, actually. Have you seen the AI video from PewDiePie about him running limbs and folding at home? Oh, LLMs folding at home in a supercomputer. I have not. No, I have not. I don't really watch much PewDiePie. Why not pedestrians? I don't know. Why would you walk? If you don't have to. Would you recommend any alternative phone OS? Probably Graphene at this point. I think Calyx is no longer a thing. Calyx OS got owned for reasons. I would suggest Graphene OS if you do not have any sort of relationship whatsoever with the person coding it. The only reason I would feel weird using Graphene is because the person who makes it thinks I'm trying to kill him, which is not true for a number of reasons that should be obvious to most people watching. Better things to do in my life. But yes, Graphene is great. It's just don't talk to the proprietor. There's Lineage, but it's a bit buggier. But obviously it's going to be buggy because Lineage tries to work on almost every phone, whereas Graphene is solely trying to work on a Pixel. There's all the scammy shit out there. There's like what's the new version of that Freedom Phone bullshit? Like Eric Prince released something. They were asking if I wanted to promote it. I got this fucking email. I forget the name of it. Somebody in chat will know what it is. It's some new privacy phone bullshit. Like 99% of the privacy phone people are completely full of shit. I'll give Daniel McKay credit for that. Like all the schizo thinking I'm trying to kill him aside. There's a lot of meme world stuff. I'm not even going to get into it in this video, but all that shit aside, he and Graphene are like the most legitimate in that space, in my opinion. Yeah, like, I get this fucking email and it's something like, yeah, the amount of trackers off of the Samsung default phone, trackers with a Graphene phone, 1293, trackers with ROS 0, and I'm like, bitch, get the fuck out of here. You think that people would not have, like, no, there are no trackers. Like, he's like, yeah, you could look at our white paper, and it's like, I don't give a fuck about your white paper. Oh, that is so sad. That is a dead bird. That makes me sad. Or he's sleeping, but whatever your white paper is, it's like, your methodology is bullshit. If your methodology brought you to the conclusion that there's 1,200 plus trackers on a Graphene phone and 0 on yours, like, just get the fuck out of here, lion smuck. Chat is lagged. Chat is not lagged. If somebody asks a question, I'm going to answer that question while other people are also asking things. I can't beam answers to you. It's not lag, it's just I'm not reading at the speed that you're typing, because it's not a technological problem. It is a foundational way the world works. There's this one video of this guy singing Michael Jackson's Bad song, and it takes him, I think, 13 or 15 seconds to sing the entire song. It's from the late 80s. I do not speak that fast, for obvious reasons. Go left side of the road. No, I don't want to. I'll go with traffic. How much money do you get from ads and live streams? I don't know. I haven't looked at it recently. In the past, not much. So funny, when I started doing live streams on my channel in 2016, I think 2016, like late summer, early fall was my first live stream on my channel. Back then, I had 600 viewers, and that was when I had about 40,000 subscribers. Now, my channel has 2.4 million subscribers, and I have 200 live viewers. I'm convinced that my channel has been bots. Every number of my channel subscribers after 20 or 30K, I'm convinced they're bots. Like, how I could go from 40,000 subscribers and 600 people watching a stream that I do to 2.4 million and 200 watching it is ew. Okay, I'm not walking over here anymore. Yeah. But I'm convinced that about 90% of the internet at this point is just bots. Probably 95% of my channel is bots. How hard is it to install Graphene OS? Very simple. The hardest part of installing Graphene OS is going to be finding a USB-C cable that is not bullshit. You'd be surprised how many USB-C cables work for other shit that don't work when I go to do that, because so many USB-C cables are not specification compliant. Once you get a cable that's specification compliant and you have Chrome installed the way that they want, and you just follow the instructions on the page, installing it is very, very simple. The only things that you have to do after you install it, I did a video in late 2023. Was it late 2022 or early 2023? I forget. I think it was late 2022. I don't exactly remember. But I did a video going over the common misconceptions. The biggest issue that you're going to have, I think, is from the get-go, a lot of people, when they install it, they don't realize that if they want to get notifications instantly, that they have to give Google Play, they have to disable a battery optimization for Google Play services or something like that. And then once you do that, you'll get notifications with all your applications the same way you would otherwise. Like, it doesn't come with Google Play services, and most applications, I think Signal is different. Signal uses its own service for push notifications, but yeah, Signal uses its own shit for push notifications, but most other services, they just use Google Play services for the push notifications. So if you want to get instant notifications when somebody messages you for a bunch of different platforms, you have to install Google Play services, but Graphene will allow you to install it in a sandbox method where you can tell it what permissions it gets, so it doesn't have the full ability to spy on your phone. That is a car from the 70s. That looks really cool. Late 60s, early 70s. Yeah, you give it, you set it from battery optimized to think like always on or on all the time or whatever the no restriction setting is, and then you'll get your push notifications. And there's something else I forget. I did a video going over the basic things, some basic misconceptions that people had about like installing Graphene. The biggest ones that I saw was like, you won't get notifications or this thing won't work. And it's like, no, it does. You just tweak these 2 or 3 settings and you're fine. But I don't remember what they are because I did that 2 or 3 years ago. Not the megaphone. There's another one. There's another Eric Prince phone recently. I forget the name of it. I have to go through my email, but I don't want to go through my email on the side of a road. Oh, the unplugged phone. That's it. I couldn't help but respond to that. Like, I usually send all the fucking sponsored emails to spam. Usually I either say spam or I just respond with a dollar amount that's ridiculous. Just for the fuck. Like, I don't actually expect them to say yes, and if they did, I wouldn't know what to do. It's kind of like a dog chasing a car. But like, for a lot of the sponsorship emails I get with bullshit, I'll just respond with like $100,000, $13,000, $80,000, $800,000, $1 million. Just for the fuck of it. Or either that or I just hit J to put it in junk folder. Yeah, that is it. The unplugged phone. It was something like some bullshit, bro. Like, bro, I'd use a device made by somebody that thinks I'm trying to kill them before I use a fucking unplugged phone any day. Fuck that. It was something I'm never gonna forget this. It's like the Graphene OS phone has like 1,300 something, this many trackers, and ours has 0. And it's like, I don't know what methodology you used, and I'm not even gonna fucking waste my time reading it. I know you're full of shit. Like, in my heart and soul, I know that you are full of shit, sir. No way. Get the fuck out of here. If you are using an unplugged OS on a phone, I would highly suggest that you switch to Graphene. Like, just don't use it. There's this book by Malcolm Gladwell. It's called Blink. And the idea is that there's a lot of people, they don't trust their gut feelings. They think that their gut feeling is wrong because it's something that they just magically came to without having to actually put an effort or think. They didn't come up with a formula or supporting evidence or anything else, so it's obviously going to be wrong. And he makes the argument in that book, Blink, that your gut is actually often correct because it's using a different part of your brain, and it's analyzing hundreds of thousands of different data points that are not conscious to you to come to that conclusion, and that it's doing it immediately. It's a very interesting book. And that was the part of my brain that I was using to confidently say, without even reading the white paper, that when the unplugged phone is like, Graphene OS has 1,200 trackers and we have 0, that your methodology was some misleading bullshit. I'm sure somebody who reads through that thing would be able to figure out what it is. I don't know if they just send the white paper to, quote, influencers, end quote. I hate that word. Or if it's available publicly. What do you think of the Fairphone 6? I've not looked at it. I'm sure somebody smarter than me will have gone through that and will have debunked it. I hope somebody has. Is there really no space for walking on the road in the US? It depends where you are. You don't go to this neighborhood to take walks, really. Like, if you want to take a walk, you would move to a neighborhood that is walkable. You don't live in this neighborhood for that, right? There are different neighborhoods that have different purposes. I just like doing what I'm not supposed to do. For this neighborhood to be peaceful and financially viable and maintain the feel that it's had this entire time, it does not have a sidewalk. Think about the amount of money that would be spent on a sidewalk that would be used by like 8 people. It doesn't make sense. So. There it is. That's a cactus. It's a pretty cactus, but unfortunately pieces of the cactus appear to be falling off, which makes me sad. I hope that one doesn't look too healthy either. Uh-oh. The YouTube app has stopped working. People are going to think I got hit by a car. YouTube app, hello? Hello? Yeah, nothing shows up on the screen. Wow. It's just dead. Started. Let's see if this works. I am not dead. I did not get hit by a car. Yet. Give it time. Give it time. What is your opinion about U.S. healthcare? It sucks. Do you have universal healthcare like other first world countries? I think a big part of the issue is not even who's doing the paying, but just the sheer amount of... Well, how do I put this? I'm going to try to figure out how to say this. So there was somebody I interviewed on my channel back in 2021, and he was talking about hospital beds. He gave an example. There's this $200 or $500 motor that goes into the bed, and it's like $30,000 or $40,000 product. When that motor dies, the only thing that they can do is replace the entire thing for $30,000 or $40,000, even though all you have to replace is a $200 to $400 motor. Whether or not that is being paid for through universal health care via taxes, or it's being paid for via some scumbag insurance company, is not the biggest issue to me. It's the fact that somebody's paying for that big bullshit to begin with. I think two things have to happen at the same time. The first is the deconstructing of the insurance system, and the second is the fixing all of the scams that would be paid. Like, you're just figuring out how are we going to structure paying for the scam. Now, insurance is a scam in and of itself. Like, somebody rear-ended my car recently, so I figured just to make it easier, I have footage. I'm literally stuck in traffic going 0 miles an hour, and somebody just slowly smashes the back of my car. And I figured, okay, I'm going to try to get around dealing with the deductible or bullshit from mine. Let me try to go through theirs. And like, it's easy to remember why people felt the way they did about Brian Thompson. Because every step of the way, it almost feels like it's fucking engineered to make it as difficult as possible for you to process a claim. Every step of the way, they make it as difficult as you... Like, half of the forms don't work. The links don't work in the side. You can do it. You just have to sit there and be really determined. And they know that somebody like me will just continuously put it off. And I think that I have more resources than your average person to be able to make time for these things. But even then, it's easy to put things off when they're annoying or there's obstacles in front of you. Insurance is a scam in and of itself for one primary reason. It's the largest conflict of interest, which is the person deciding whether or not a claim has merit is the person who loses money if the claim has merit. So, and the person who sets up the claims process is the person who also loses money when a claim is created. So the incentive structure with insurance is just so fucked up, because when you think about free market incentives for insurance companies, the incentive structure to make a claims process that makes sense does not exist. The entire incentive structure is built to make the claims process suck. Now you could say, well, that just means that whoever makes the easiest claims process is going to be the insurance company that everybody uses, and they're going to win. But that's not how this works. Because when it comes to competition, because if one company comes out that makes the claims process really simple, then they're going to lose a fuck ton of money, because you're not making money with new customers. You're losing money when you have customers. So insurance is this really weird area where capitalism just kind of falls flat and fails. I'm not just talking about health insurance. I mean insurance in general, like business loss of income insurance, auto insurance, all of it. It's all shit. I'm never gonna forget the first claim that I had to do in 2012. If it was 2012 or 2013. Which year was the hurricane? There was Sandy and Irene. Shut up, watch. There was Hurricane Sandy or Irene. My store had no electricity. I tried to file a business loss of income insurance claim with the Hartford. I'm like, I paid for the policy that I was upsold to, and I did all the things I was supposed to with an official insurance broker and an official agency and everything. I should be set because I'm responsible, unlike the other business owners that don't have business loss of income insurance. I go to file my claim because my store was closed for a week. It's hard to run an electronics store when half of your... Shut up, watch. I'm walking downhill. It's hard to run an electronics repair company when your city has no fucking electricity. So, go to the side for a moment. The truck can pass. And they said, well, this doesn't cover floods, Mr. Rossman. And I said, what are you talking about? It doesn't cover floods. There's no water in my store. I have pictures. Not a drop of water entered. Like, you don't understand. Why was there no electricity? Because the power plant stopped providing it. Why did the power plant stop providing electricity? Because it was flooded. I'm like, yeah, but that's the power plant. That's not me. My store wasn't flooded. And like, yeah, you need flood insurance. Why would I need flood insurance to cover the fucking power plant? And like at this point in time, I think I had $3,000 in my bank account. Like I'm gonna hire a lawyer at $800 an hour to sue you and try to get my insurance claim processed for the loss of income from that week, which is probably at that point in time like less than I would have spent on a lawyer to begin with. Of course not. It's like, you fucks. It's just all us. Welp, he's dead. I am not dead. Talking about the interview with the biomed engineer or the guy from AutoCare? Neither. This is in 2021. That was before either of them. Was it? You think Trump will support right to repair? I don't know. Delay, deny, defend. Or depose or something else. I forget what it was. You're close to this list. Capitalism cannot work because it's based on exploitation of people. I don't agree with that. I think that if you say there is exploitation in capitalism, sure. If you're saying that all capitalism is exploitation, that's a meme. Aren't you supposed to walk against traffic and not with it? It's fine. What you're supposed to do is when a vehicle is coming is move to the side and not assume that they're not on their phone or drunk. That's what you're supposed to do. The fact that right to repair is even being debated is surreal to Europeans. I don't know why. It's not like you have it either. Sorry, are you able to buy a chip or get a schematic to half of the crap that's in your house? No. Look, it's a deer. Hello, little fella. Don't run away. Why are you scared of me, but when there's a car going 60 miles an hour, you just stare at it like... I'll never understand how deer are more afraid of people than they are cars. If I'm driving, the deer just stops. And I don't mean like I'm going 50 or 80 miles an hour. I mean if I'm going 15 right by my house, they'll just stop and stare at the car. And the funniest part is when I stop and then they cross, or and then like I start to go again, and as the moment I go to go, they run in front of the car. Truly an interesting creature. Do you like orcas? I don't know what that is. Is it a flower of some sort? I don't know. It sounds familiar. I usually played as humans in Warcraft when I played it rather than orcs. I know in Warcraft 3 they added 2 other species. It used to be just orcs and humans, and then they added these 2 other weird things that look like ghosts or something. Why is somebody screaming at me in all caps? This is weird. Let me scroll past that. God. You should walk on the oncoming side traffic so they can see you. Whether they see me, whether they see me is not about whether I'm on which side of the road I'm on. Whether they see me comes down to whether they're staring at their phone or drunk. And rather than rely on people seeing me, I assume that they don't, and when a car comes, I go to the side. I cannot control whether the person that's in their car driving in Texas is staring at their phone or drunk, which happens more often than you think. So I just do this when I hear a car, and I'm just fine. How do you like Austin compared to New York? Austin is kind of like the Dubai of America. I don't know. Biking is not a cancer. Who called biking a cancer? GTFO. Gonna shovel snow. Oh, that's something I have not had to do in a long time. It's a matter of relying on hearing alone versus sight plus hearing, when a car is coming. Oh, will you guys shut up already? For fuck's sake. It's fine. You think the UAE planes, we sold them, need to contact the manufacturer to work on their planes? I wouldn't be surprised. It would be very fucked up if other countries get better contracts with American-made devices than America does when purchasing American-made devices. However, Microsoft gives Windows customers a better deal in the EU than they do in the United States. You get free updates to Windows 10 in the EU. You do not. You have to pay in the US. Ooh, this is cool. What do we have here? What do we have here? We are concerned for your... No, don't be concerned. Go away. Go away. Go away. Let's see. You know... The walking on the left is annoying. Every time a car comes by me and I see it, it's mentally does something and I wind up paying attention less. So I avoid doing that. It helps me pay attention. What? There's a gate. How fucking dare you? What is this gate bullshit? I want to see the water. What the fuck is that thing? Is that a cat monkey? Once a New Yorker, always a New Yorker. Can't gatekeep nature, mofo. Oh, it's a ducky. Let's say hi to the ducky. I come around this way because the park requires $5 to enter if you go to Mansfield Dam Park. And it's not about the $5, it's that they only take cash. And I never have $5 in cash on me. Okay, I pause my thing and let's take a look at the ducky. Does Texas have castle law? Sure does. I'm not a very convincing duck, unfortunately. I do not fish, I have fish. It's not. It would be very mean for me to have a fishy and then put a giant hook through their mouth for no good reason. If I was starving and had to eat, I would consider it, but otherwise, my fish would be very mad at me if I did that. This is a very nice place to come sit. You see all the birdies up there? Look at all the birdies on that tower. I think they're attracted to the power lines or something. Whoa, you can see the moon in the daytime. That's crazy. I don't know if you could see that with a shitty ass Pixel camera. This thing never focuses. Pixel phone camera can't focus to save its life. Look at that. It's broad daylight and I can see the moon. I don't know, I'm not used to that. It's crazy. Time to walk back and hope that I don't get castle doctrined. If I do, I hope they aim for the head or something. It would suck. This is the closest thing you get to a beach in Texas. I remember I would joke and call this a beach. I was dating this woman that was from California. And she would go, "That is not a beach, Lewis. That is not a beach." Dating a woman from California was a low point for me. That was no fun. I like my beach. Isn't it pretty? Very nice beach. It's the beach that I can afford. Because my house by a beach in California would be like fucking $8 or $10 million. My old boss, Aaron, has a house by a beach in California. It's very nice. I wonder if it'll still be there 5 years from now. The beach is slowly eating up the houses alongside the shore. That's sand. There's sand right there. You can see the sand. The bit rate. Yeah, that's T-Mobile in the YouTube app. My phone feels cold to the touch, so it's not that the phone is throttling from overheating. The phone has 5 bars with 5G. That's the magic of T-Mobile and the shitty YouTube app. You know, here's the funny thing. If you use the YouTube app on an iPhone, it actually works really well. If you use the YouTube app on a flagship Android phone made by Google, it does not work well at all for streaming. You actually get much better streaming on an iPhone than you do using an Android phone, which is fucking hysterical since Google has owned YouTube and pretty much Android and the Pixel for, what, like half a decade to a decade now, at least for the Pixel phones coming from Google. So I find that very funny. Oh, they changed the restaurant here. There was an old restaurant here that looked very Resident Evil like. It had not been put together for a long time. So I have to zoom on the watch. Isn't it connected to the Gulf of America? I refer to it as the Gulf of Mexico. No alcohol behind this point. Well, I'm not drunk, so I should be fine. This is now Hot Dog Wally. It used to be something else, but it's also dead. I don't know why somebody would put a restaurant here. There's no fucking money. There's no people. Here, pause my watch for a moment since I'm... Why you gotta be like that, bro? I just want to get a view. Are you okay with me getting a view? Didn't hear anybody say no. Let's see. No wake. What does no wake mean? Maybe they meant to say no woke. And there was a typo. No lake? This is a lake, so it can't be no lake. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. No wake. I don't know. Isn't this pretty? It's very nice looking. What's your favorite anime? Don't have one. Getting a crisp 144p JPEG stream. Yeah, that's the magic of T-Mobile and the YouTube app. This is a Pixel 9 Pro phone. Your flagship phone. Literally nothing else is running on this fucking device. Yeah. It is what it is. Wonder if broken. That's crazy. Oh, here we go. The buttons came back. I think live streaming from an Android phone is actually buggier than live streaming to YouTube on an iPhone. Awake. No wake. Isn't a wake a ceremony for dead people? No wake means the speed limits for boats is slow to not cause a wake. No waves. Oh. Interesting. The sheriff is coming by. Uh-oh. Maybe I shouldn't have gone for my view after all. I'm watching someone else walk instead of walking myself. I feel fat. You know what's funny is I've done a lot of cardio in the last month, and I gained about 7 pounds. I'm probably in better shape for it, but I definitely did not lose weight from it. How much you want to bet the sheriff thinks you're a Second Amendment auditor? I think you mean First Amendment auditor, but I'm neither. Just walking. The sheriff is actually really nice here. I got stopped once by him. He actually said something like, "You're the only person with this car I've ever seen that actually has front plates. Thank you for obeying the law." I'm like, huh, thank you for noticing. I appreciate that. Shiznik, are you a Nana listener? It sounds like the song Remember the Time by Nana. iPhone is good hardware and software. I hate to say it, while they do fail at giving you freedom, iPhone is just a better experience than Android in a lot of ways. It's just fundamentally faster. It just feels faster and less buggy. I don't use one. I'm not going to buy a computer that will allow me to install applications of my choice. It's just not happening in my lifetime if I can help it. Or at least to the extent that I can help it. But they win there. Like just the fact that an iPhone can stream to YouTube using the YouTube app with better stability than an Android phone on the same carrier is crazy. Like an iPhone SE is better at streaming to YouTube than a Pixel 9 Pro. You have to fix the world. I don't know. You can try. I wish you the best of luck with that. I don't have an OS of choice for Android. Be right back. I have to pause the live stream for a live stream. Shut up, watch. What OS do you use in your Pixel? I use iOS on my Pixel. Shut up, watch. Dude, you know someone has a flat camera following you 24/7 just for spite. Could be possible. I like seeing a Chevy Silverado truck that is scratched and banged up a little bit. It shows that somebody at least used it. That or they drive drunk. One or the other. I'll assume the former. I don't know about what you said about the S. Is the S9 where they had that edge bullshit on the screen? I can't stand that edge bullshit that they did. Let's make it so that when you're holding it, that you get false touches based on your palm. Whoever came up with the edge idea, I'm not gonna say it. Some jurisdictions made their yellow lights time faster so that more people ran through reds. I think, and I could be wrong, that is part of when they had the red light camera ban in Texas. That was one of the supporting arguments for it, is they realized that jurisdictions or areas were changing the yellow light times so that they can make more money off of the red light cameras, which is complete and total bullshit. I was confused. I would stop short when I saw a yellow light when I first moved here, because I thought it was like the New York ones. There's a couple of red light cameras in New York. The yellow almost doesn't exist. And I got the first time I got a $350 fine for going through a red because the yellow light passed almost immediately. I would just smash on my brake. I don't give a fuck. If I cause a 20 car pileup, I'm not paying $350 again. Fuck that. It's very unsafe the way that they would set that up. Just so that they can make more money in the moment off of the red light cameras, they would make it have no yellow light. And when you have a $300 or $400 fine for that, you're incentivizing people to smash their brakes and cause like 4 cars to get rear-ended all at once, just so that guy avoids his fine. It's a horrible incentive structure. And when I moved here, I realized, oh, you actually have yellow lights that are normal. Like, it's yellow to let me know I should slow down, and it lasts for a second or two, so I could actually tap on my brake, or if there's no traffic coming from either direction and I'm very close to it, just continue going and then be fine, like a normal person, rather than turning it into a fucking video game. I shouldn't even, just don't get me started on this. Fuck New York. But, and then you'll have like the type of Reddit person going, well, I like these cameras because I don't want you going through reds in my neighborhood. It's like, you fucking moron. You uninformed hall monitor. It's not about punishing people that go through reds. It's about fucking with people by changing the time frame of the yellow light and then incentivizing society to smash their brakes for no good reason when there's no cross traffic so that they avoid a fine. You're financially rewarding people. You're financially incentivizing people to drive shittier and cause more accidents. Anyway, the red light cameras are banned in the state of Texas, and good. It was a scam. They saw it for what it was, and I approve. It's kind of like the voter ID thing. Like, I don't have an issue. I would not have a problem with red light cameras if they were put together with proper intentions. But when you see that they change the time frame of the yellow light after putting the red light camera in, and then you see like the incentive structure behind it, that's when I say fuck you. Like, I have no problem with voter ID. I have to show my ID to do a bunch of different shit. Why not have to show it to vote? It's when you see, oh yeah, they closed DMVs in this fucking area right after putting voter ID there. And the politicians that did it are politicians that are the opposite party of the dominant party in that area. It's like, oh, fuck you guys, right? Like, in theory, I don't have a problem with it, with the idea. But then when you look at the incentive structures and the intentions behind the implementation is where I go, fuck you guys. Why are you giving me an FFmpeg command in a YouTube chat? My brain is not processing that while I'm walking. Your thoughts on stoplight cameras? Yes. It's the incentive structure behind it. And maybe red light cameras would have actually encouraged people to not go through red lights if they were done properly. But that's not how it worked. Some greedy fuckface decided to fuck with it in a manner that made things less safe for people everywhere. Because the two things that really got me when I started driving in Texas was A, right on red. Immediately in New Hampshire too, like the whole right on red thing. New York City has no right on red. You can't make a right on red in New York City, even if there's nobody there. So it took me a while to get used to the fact. Like, I would just sit someplace where there's no cross traffic at all. You could clearly see down the road there's nobody there, and I would not make a right because like, I don't want to get in trouble. It took me a while to beat that out of my head. And the other was yellow lights. Like, I remember in New Hampshire, I would smash on my brakes when I saw a yellow light. Like, what the fuck am I doing? This light is yellow for like 3 seconds. What is wrong with me? And then I didn't realize how unsafe that was But and a passenger points out, like behind me, who had not lived in New York City, why are you doing that? The car behind you could smash you. It's like, well, you have to do that so you don't get a $400 fucking fine. It's like, okay, you see how long the light's yellow for? I'm like, oh, wow, I wasn't used to that. My brain was so used to, I have to avoid getting a fine. I have to like try to win this stupid fucked up game. And he looks at me and says, it's not a game, it's a traffic light. And I'm like, you're right, it's not a game, it's a traffic light. It's not a game. It's a game in some shitty areas of the country, but it's not a game elsewhere. Out of control greed ruins everything. Whether it's from a government or from a company, there's always some asshole that has to do something like that makes it worse for everybody. Because red light cameras really could have been this thing that keep people, like, I don't see a lot of people going through reds. I mean, it's like 1% of the population doing it. But that 1% is obviously the one that's going to be responsible for most of the car accidents and deaths. But if you had that and it was done properly, it probably could have incentivized them to think twice before they do it. But no. Can't have good things when you have shitty people. If I were running on a voter ID issue, my run is make the DMV suck less. Going to the DMV is a very miserable experience. What if getting an ID was really easy because the DMV was very efficient and their website always worked and the instructions were easy to find? Music Menace, you are no longer allowed to break the no acronym rule. This is your first and final warning. Remember what I said about not assuming that the Texas drivers on the road were not drinking? If you're in a neighborhood that has no crosswalks and you have a bunch of beer cans on the side of the road, I wish I had my bag on me. I would pick these up and throw them away. Yeah, this is why I moved to the side. Like, why don't you go on that side of the road so people can see you? Drunk people can't see me. Move aside when a car is coming. Is it possible to permanently brick your Pixel when installing another OS? Possibly, I don't know. It's possible to do almost anything, really, if you're stupid enough. Or if you're determined enough. I'm very determined. I like breaking things. I find new and inventive ways to make things stop working all the time. I'm special like that, though. You can't see behind you. No shit. Sure can't. But don't care. Don't have to see behind me. If you keep ignoring me, I'll be broke tomorrow. What are your thoughts on Evil Clippy, Globby? Will you do a collab? I don't know who that is. I don't think I was ignoring you. I just don't think I understood the question. And I appreciate the €5 and thank you very much. But unfortunately, the €5 is not. I don't know what that means. What are your thoughts on Evil Clippy? I don't know what that is. So I don't have an answer for you. Would you collaborate with the creator? I don't know what Evil Clippy is. I don't know who that is. Don't know anything about that, unfortunately. What is the no acronym rule about? Acronyms suck. Because acronyms are where you put a bunch of letters together and you assume that what it means to you is what everybody else will interpret it means. And it's a very inefficient and lazy way of communicating that I try to avoid. I despise acronyms. looks like you're having a heart attack. Not yet. Give it. You talk about Amazon blocking apps on their Android streaming devices to any of your videos. I don't know much about Amazon Android devices, so I don't have any experience with them. That would be a good article for consumerrights.wiki. If you have evidence of it, I would highly suggest you make an article for consumerrights.wiki about that. That is what it's for. That would be awesome. Like, great things should not include your back. Yeah, unfortunately, I've already did that earlier this year. Do you think it is right for Nintendo to make separate software for Europe and USA, making USA ones breakable? Well, it's not about whether it's right, it's about whether you can get away with it. I don't think a lot of what Nintendo does is right. What I learned from the videos I've done on Nintendo is that people are very eager to defend a company that does not have their best interest in mind, and they have a bit of a cult thing going on there. It's going to benefit them greatly. I hope I don't have that from me. You'll see that with content creators, with politicians, with YouTubers. Like, there are these cult followings that follow people around, where they will defend a person, a company, a politician, a thing that really does not give two shits of a fuck about them. But they will defend it. I see that with Nintendo. Like, I would just keep asking the same question. Like, fuck me, forget about me. Who gives a shit about me? You don't have to like any of my content. You could think I'm a piece of shit that should go die or whatever. But how does it benefit you that the person who made your console has the ability to break it permanently? I'm not talking about keeping it from going online. Because if you cheat in video games and you find ways to cheat and they want to ban you from using online gaming on their servers, whatever, fine, go for it. How does it benefit you that it is written into the contract that they have the ability to ban? But Lewis, I don't think they've used it, or I don't think they would use it. Or you don't have, no. Fuck that. That's not my question. My question is, how does it benefit you that this is in the contract? Explain it to me. Because you are spending time defending this as if you are a shareholder of Nintendo, as if you are an employee, an executive for Nintendo. Tell me how this benefits you. Start. I hate that content creator. He has clickbait thumbnails. Fuck with it. No. No more deflection. How does it benefit you? Answer the fucking question. And they can't answer it. I just kicked a rock into the road. Shouldn't be there. It's gonna fall. You know, when you do the calculations by population density, I genuinely don't believe that people in Texas or any sort of rural area or less populated area are cleaner than people in New York. Like, look at all the... When you do the calculation by population density, there might even be more pollution here than New York. Next time I do this, I'm going to bring a bag with me so I can pick that stuff up. I've had a few videos where I walk around and I pick up the junk on the side of the road. Shut up, watch. What is my favorite flower? I don't have one. Starting a business the best way to make it and live comfortably? No. Starting a business is something that makes sense if you have an idea, nobody else is serving that particular constituency to the way that you would, and you cannot start working somewhere else and you want to get rid of the middleman. So you need to have a resume, you need to have 5 or 10 years of experience, you need to have a college degree to get a job. Do you know what you need to start a business? Nothing. Okay, nothing. Put up pull tab signs where the people that you use are, put up YouTube videos, put up advertisements somewhere, and people come to you. That's it. If you're offering what they need and you are a better deal, you are faster, you are better at what you do, you're whatever it is, then you're good. The best part about starting a business is it cuts out the middleman. I've been asked by a customer for like, do you have a college degree? Not once. Like, let me see your references of experience from your past employers or any of that bullshit. So it really cuts out a lot of the noise. The great part is you just get to live, you get to cut out all the middlemen that get in the way of you being able to offer a service to somebody. The downside is you may not have the infrastructure in place to be able to do that. Obviously, the business I started, I was able to start with $250. There's a lot of business you would need. So here, I'll just start doing that. I had to work for somebody else before I could start a business for myself because I couldn't really I didn't understand the business well enough, and I didn't understand that the opportunity existed. Once I worked at a company and saw how bad they were at servicing customers and like some of the basic shit they were getting wrong, then it was easy for me to come up with the idea in my head of, it would be, what if we did things this way? And, you know, I ran my experiment. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I think your earbud fell out. I don't have earbuds. Can't hear you. No, not much I can do there. I'm just talking into a phone. I see a salty person there. Considering you don't do much repair videos anymore, does YouTube exposure still get you considerable business? I don't know. I don't like ask all my customers who referred me when they walk in, so I don't really know. I don't have a way of tracking that. Opinion on Lenovo. I think they managed to do a good amount of damage to the ThinkPad brands. A lot of the newer models lack the durability. Oh man, they have the touchpad that's like one touchpad without buttons. I bought a P1 Gen 6 and it was throttling to the point of, like, I was using 40 or 60% CPU and the thing was throttling to the point where it was useless. It's just, Lenovo went from being a ThinkPad but just that had said Lenovo versus IBM to watering it down a little bit. So now even when you buy the business class machines, you're essentially buying the worst of a MacBook from 2011 and the worst of a PC all in one. I don't like Lenovo much anymore. I don't use ThinkPads anymore. I love the track point, but model means they butcher the track point. I used to like being able to feel for the middle mouse button versus the left and the right one because my thumb is usually just rolling from one to the other. I don't look down at the fucking trackpad to see what the buttons are. And I would constantly be hitting the wrong ones. And I'm just wondering, why'd you take something that worked and make it worse? So I don't use ThinkPads anymore. They're pretty bad laptops. Oh, somebody died. There's so much freedom when you start your own business. Yes. You have the freedom to work you could choose any 80 hours of the week that you want. Make your own schedule. And when you start your own business, you're usually working for the biggest dickhead in the world. You. Of all the bosses I've ever had, none of them were a bigger dickhead than myself. Like they said, but look, the trackpad is bigger now. Bro, I'm not buying a ThinkPad because I want a giant trackpad. If I wanted that, I would buy a MacBook because the MacBook has a much better trackpad than any PC to begin with anyway. These trackpads fucking suck. Like, they're shit. You lost that battle like 15 years ago. Accept it. I love that it was the P1 Gen 6. It literally throttles like a MacBook from 2011, but has all the downsides of a PC. It's like the side of the road. Yeah. I want to get hit by a giant truck. Somebody painted Christmas lights on the school bus. That's pretty nice. Shut up, watch. I'm trying to not get run over. You asked what Glooby is. It's a YouTube video about an evil Clippy that's firing everybody at the company via Zoom. But Glorb thought about apologizing to Rod GR. I don't know what Glorb is. I don't know what they would apologize for. I don't know what an evil Clippy is. There's a lot of verbi. First, you don't have to donate for me to answer a question. I'll happily read the stuff as it comes on screen. And I also feel bad because you're giving me money to ask about things that I don't. I'm actually more confused now than I was after the first one. Yeah, I don't know what most of that stuff is, I'm afraid. I'm sorry. Would you agree to a full transparency in society where you're not going to be punished for your actions? Like if I don't know what that means. Say a quick hi. Hello, Sir Galahad. Thank you. The biggest downside I've been through working is that when you own or start your business, any state legal things you need to acquire that serve to gatekeep. Licenses are usually easy to apply for. It depends on the industry. I know in some there's more. You know what the funny thing is? Like, I hate giving Steve Bannon credit for having a point, but the one thing I'll say is when he says that there's more regulation on a hairdresser than an AI company that's worth $1 trillion. I remember listening, I forget where I heard that from, but he's not wrong. I was surprised at the amount that you have to go through to become a hairdresser. It's way harder to become a hairdresser than it is to become a repair shop or a data recovery place, at least with regards to the things that you have to apply for. What is the speed limit on this road? I think it's 45 miles an hour. I'm going way under the speed limit right now. Glooby is a comedy skit. I don't watch a lot of comedy skits, so I haven't seen that. I'm not against questions on it, I just don't know any. I've never seen it before, so I'm probably not going to have good answers to any questions regarding it. That can be a... Well, what you said about Ted Kaczynski and being spot on, be careful when you say with stuff like that. It's easy to fall into those traps, and I'll give you an example. I made this argument about Socrates for this college philosophy course I took last year for fun. So Alex Jones used to say that your television is spying on you and it's listening to you, right? That they could see you and listen to you and spy on you through your TV. And he started saying that in 2001. I can't point to where because he has been so wiped from the internet at this point that I'm just not going to be able to find the clip. So if somebody could find a clip of it, great, but I'm just going to ask for some trust on that. I remember him saying something related to that. Now, in 2023, when you buy an LG television that costs $3,600, $3,800 after sales tax, and its default option when you open the fucking menu, it says, do not sell my personal data, and the option is turned off, your television is technically spying on you by default. Does that mean that when Alex Jones said that you're being spied on through your TV in 2001 that he was correct? No. He was crazy. And then later on in life, he was, quote, made correct, end quote. Is that because what he was saying was right? Or is it just that the world massively shifted? And when the world shifts, does that mean that you weren't crazy for saying what you did when you did? I'll still say I think Ted Kaczynski was crazy. I'm not going to go down the whole he was correct rabbit hole thing there. Remember Socrates had this theory, I forget what it was, but he was talking about how there's memories and everything that you learn is something you've already learned because all the learning of humanity is passed down regularly. Now, in the 2020s, or the 21st century, you have the concept of epigenetics. If you have a mouse or a rat that is born in captivity, that has never seen another rat in its life, it has never seen another animal, and you put the smell of a cat in the cage, it gets anxious. Well, how does it know that? How would it know that if it's never spoken to another animal? It's never seen another animal. That's the epigenetics. Did Socrates have knowledge of epigenetics when he said that? Or was he just smoking some good shit and making things up to, I don't know, impress the ladies and get laid or something? Either A, somehow, in a book that got burned in the Library of Alexandria, there was an entire theory of this. Or B, he was full of it. Anyway. When do you think there will be a public site to show all Ring doorbell camera locations? I don't know. I'm still trying to work on there's one guy in the Zulip chat who's been really helpful at putting together the beginning of something that will help show when there's a city council meeting in your area for those things. I'm excited to see that go somewhere. Hope it goes somewhere. That place over here, Saigon Cafe, Asian Fusion, exceptional. They are the best. They're closed on Tuesday, but I'll forgive them for that because they're so good on every other day. And here's the other thing about conspiracy stuff in general that I'll go over that relates to the two things I said. This is like I think it's the Peter Schiff bias. I'm not saying that he's a conspiracy person, I'm just pointing this out. If you're somebody who says, I expect the stock market to go up at this time, and you get it wrong, one time out of five, you get it wrong, the stock market will go up at this point. But you're right the other 4 times, you will get destroyed. However, if you're Peter Schiff, and you say, the stock market is going to go down at this time. If you get it wrong, like 20 out of 21 times, people will still like you and listen to you and think you're smart. So when it comes to, it's something similar with conspiracies, where people will look at, like, he could say the most psychotic shit in the world, and 20 or 30 years later, if one of those things is right, it's like, yeah, he was right all along. There's a bias to that. The same way that with people who predict the doom and gloom in the stock market, it doesn't matter how many times you don't get it right. It's like, well, he eventually was right. Well, yeah, but if you invested based on that information, you would be down a fuck ton of money. Crickets. I would just suggest that when you're like discussing the whole Ted Kaczynski was right about everything thing. Like, this is a very strange area. So there's a bunch of barbed wire between here and a broken down truck and trailer, right? Look at all the barbed wire between this and this broken down looking fucked up truck and some trailers over there. However, when I walk past the houses that look like they're worth $4 or $8 million, there's no security. That's one thing I've always found interesting when I go for a walk through Hudson Bend or I go by the lake. The most security exists around the areas that would seem to have the least to worry about. Like, I'm not a thief, but if I were a thief, I'm breaking into one of the houses by Dupont Circle or something, up whichever circle it is up there, that are worth $8 million before I'm breaking into a bunch of trailers. But that's just me. I'm not an efficient thief. Maybe there's treasure back here that I don't know of. There could be some treasure. Shut up, watch. I'm gonna log off. Have a nice walk. Thank you, Pat. See you later. How many Ring doorbell cameras have tracked your walk? More than I'm comfortable with. Shut up, watch. No trespassar. No trespassing. Tired. So I am going to cut it short. Enjoy the rest of your day. Once I find the button in the broken YouTube app. Here we go. It just showed up.